Okay, so this tutorial is going to be to create risers, pitch risers, or atmospheres. So to get things started, right click, add MIDI track. And I do normally like to use silent for this. Now you can create it yourself, or you can find pad sounds. I'll just find a simple pad. Add some decay and sustain so the note will continue. Okay, and bring the pitch bend up to 12, which is an octave. Fairly straightforward. And I'll just rename this pitch riser. So if you highlight an area by left clicking and dragging, and then you hold Control Shift and M, that will insert a MIDI track, or a MIDI clip I should say. And drag that across to the length of your clip. And now I normally like to have the end cut out of it a little bit, just to add a bit more space for other things. So move the pitch bend and press A on your keyboard, and that will open up the automation lane. And you want the very end of this clip to be at the 12 semitones, which is an octave. So we'll just have a listen to that. Nothing special, but it works. So what I like to do from here is drop. You could use an auto filter. Set it to band. Set it to 12. Raise the resonance a little bit, and we'll just hear what that's like. So find the highest point and set that there, and then drop this near enough the bottom, but you still want it to be heard, so 176 Hertz should be okay. And you can also add, let me see, you can also add some LFO. I'll go with volume A and B. And so by setting it on free, you're not stuck just to the beat signatures there. If you hit free, you're going through the frequency range rather than timing. So again with this, I'll bring that up to there. also add there would be maybe some reverb. And bring up the dry wet towards the end. What I would also do here would be add an EQ8 and just take out some of the very low end and take out just down to about 10,000 kilohertz. And let's hear how that sounds. What I would also do there would be to add some sidechain towards the end. You can use a normal compressor for this. There's countless videos on how to sidechain, but I like to either use Duck by Devious Machines or LFO Tool by X4 Records. I'll just use Duck for this one. And now I'm just going to tweak the sidechain to find something that suits the sound better. Okay, so add the highest point here, lowest point here. Now to curve an automation lane like this, you simply hold the Alt key and that will change the symbol along the mouse, and just hold left click and drag down or up. And you could go crazy altogether, and let me see. There it is. You could add Redux, and Redux is a downsampling VST. I'll show you how that works now. So this would be about the highest point that I'd go with. And again, drop this down, add a slight bit of curvature. Again, hold an Alt. And let's hear how that sounds. It adds more movement, but I'd recommend you place it behind the EQ here, because this will be adding frequencies to the lower end and higher end of the spectrums. So let's give that another listen. maybe that might be a little high on that end, so if I just lower that down, hear how that sounds? Okay, that's a fairly straightforward riser. Anytime you're using an automation or a MIDI track, I should say, anytime you're doing anything like this, I'd always recommend you do two and have it the complete opposite. Again, with this, have that lowering down towards the end as well, but I'd have that slightly up, because imagine there was a kick drum coming in here, you'd still want some bit of sidechain, because it would be interfering with the space the kick has to work in. Again, drop that down from there. And let's not forget the LFO rate. And the pitch bend. Okay, so let's give that a listen. For the second one, you'd have that going all the way to the end, but I'm thinking maybe drop the octave. Being as I have the octave so low, I'm going to bring the pitch range up to 24, which is 2 octaves. Now, of course, your pitch riser could be anything else. Like, you can throw on any preset and you can make it work the same way. Now you can imagine this is the uplifter, and this would be the downlifter. So this would be used in places like just coming into breakdowns or transitioning from one part of a song to the other. Uplifters would be used in reverse. It would be used to bring energy into a specific section of the track. But what I do, if you untick this this padlock here, the automation is attached to this clip. So I'll move this here. All automation will move with that now that's assigned. And I will left click, then right click, and then freeze track. And then flatten. These are the tails. I like to just drag them across. If I need to cut any out, I'll do that as I'm going along. I'll press A to go back to the clip editing view. And now you have, I'll just take the freeze out of them. And by freezing and flattening tracks, you will actually be saving a lot on CPU usage. And what you can do with them, you can double click and save them. But what I like to do is right click them and show an explorer. And then I like to copy them and move them from here. Once that's done and I move them into my sample packs, I have my own one here. But once you move them into your own sample pack, they will always be there to use. Now, let me see, I don't have many in these. But I normally like to save some of the things that I use from there. So yeah, that concludes this tutorial on risers, atmospheres, etc.